I mean, I ate a worm when I was a kid. Come on, you know, and this is what you do when you're a kid. But now the Board of Ed has got these parents irate, and if you see, they've been served. The people are rising up because the people are not going to take it anymore. And that's why, Chauncey, that's why I'm going to win, because I represent the wonderful parents of District 4, and I represent their needs and their children, and I'm fighting for them. And I'm at these Board of Ed meetings, and I'm screaming and I'm yelling with them. And you know what? We're going to get loud enough, and they are going to lose, because right always beats doing the wrong thing. And I'm not going to get crazy. I'm going to be very careful with my language. You don't want to hurt children. And if the parents want to put a mask on the kids, that's the parent's choice. Send out a survey. Who wants a mask? Who doesn't want a mask? If they want to wear a mask, you send your kids to school with a mask. That's your child. That's your prerogative as a parent. But you cannot tell me to put a mask on my child because you believe in it. And my science, and they say follow the science, says masks don't work. So you know what? Keep your mask. If you want to wear it, God bless you. Go right ahead. Love those guys that drive with the mask by themselves in the car. God bless you. Stop masking our kids. Let these kids smile. Let these kids play instruments. Let these kids not sit in the breathing chair. And let these kids have the life they deserve.
Amen. You know, Mike, just to add to that, people forget America is a free country. What that means is you have the right to do whatever you want to do. Mandates are not law. If I want to wear a mask, I can wear a mask. If I don't want to wear a mask, I don't have to. That's the difference in a free society. These imposed mandates, okay, undermine our free society. People, these mandates are undermining the free society that our founders built this country on. The choices I have for my children and myself are my choices, not the government's choices. All of these school board members, and I was a former school board member, you're there for parents and children. You're not there for your own personal will and gain. You're not there to tell parents what they can and cannot do. You are elected by the people, and you serve people. And that's what we have to, and I'm so proud of these parents for standing up against mass mandates, critical race theory, okay, early sex education, all of these things that are immoral to the psyche of our children. Instead of trying to make sure our children can read and write and do arithmetic and maybe understand comprehension, critical thinking skills, we are diverting. Our children in our educational system, public school, are not even learning about civic responsibility, statesmanship, American history. They're not even learning this stuff anymore. And then you have Congress people like AOC who has no clue about government. And I even commented the other day on LinkedIn, how can this person say that capitalism is bad for America and she's got a degree in economics? I mean, my son holds 2 degrees, well, 3, but 2, one in finance and one in economics, and he's a capitalist. I've never known anybody went to a finance school and was not a capitalist.
Agreed.
But this person thinks that, AOC thinks that, you know, a government should hand out everything. It's not the government's responsibility to be everybody's daddy.
No.
When God brings you into this world,
no.
Exactly. When God brings you into this world, you're only accountable to one person, yourself. Nobody owes you anything. Everyone should be thanking God for life and do the best you can at being a human being that God gave you. Putting your hand for handouts and all this other stuff is ridiculous. All you're doing is oppressing massive amount of people and keeping them, okay, locked down under government control. We don't need it. This government wasn't founded on it. This country wasn't founded on it, and we must push back against it at all costs because we're going to end up like a Venezuela or a socialist communist country. Do we really want that? Well, 80 million people, I know, including yourself and me, do not want it, okay? And most of these people that are trying to push this narrative, have you traveled around the world and see how the rest of the world lives? I've been blessed to travel around the world. Even people on welfare in this country live better than people in third world countries. It's a shame.
And I'm going to tell you this. So I meet a lot of people in the district. So one day I was speaking, and this little old woman, she came, pulled my jacket, Mr. Mike, can I speak? I said, sure, absolutely. She says, I want you to know that I came from Cuba, which was a communist country. She says, I am sickened that I may have to die in communism. And then I spoke to John Iwanowski. He's a very prominent businessman in New Jersey. He came from Poland. He was one of the 9 people that helped free Poland from communism. He says, Mike, you don't understand. My mother used to walk 15 kilometers to get some flour, and that's communism. He says, we used to get an orange for Christmas. He goes, when I came off that plane to the United States and I saw oranges abundant, he thought he was in heaven. And he says, now when I see what's happening, it's disturbing. So all these people that think socialism and communism is the way to go, speak to John Iwanowski, speak to Rosa, speak to people that came from communist countries and see why they left those countries and came here. This is democracy. This is America, baby. We don't work that way. We are about democracy, our Constitution, and life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Amen. Amen. Yes, this is a free society. We have, and God gave us free will. And this government, what Joe Biden is trying to take away, freedom and liberty. And people, if you can't see it by now, we don't need another 2.5 years to witness it. This guy has been a disaster from day one. Why do we have inflation? And he's trying to blame it on other people. You increase regulations, you cut down the Alaskan pipeline, and then you weren't. And come on, and then you talk about why the shelves are empty and meat prices because of you. You're outsourcing everything to foreign countries. You know what you're doing, Joe. You've been paid off by China, by Ukraine. Why are you sending troops to Ukraine? Because he's been paid off, him and his son. Yet, you'll shut down 15,000 jobs of the pipeline from Alaska to the United States, but you'll allow Russia to run a pipeline and support Russia's pipeline. People, wake up. Really?
You are so right. Again, here's the problem. Again, the fake media. People stop listening to the fake media. You want to live a better life? Turn off your television. Look at life. See what's going on. Listen, I'm not saying listen to Fox or OAN and Newsmax, but just get the contrast and compare for yourself so you can see what's going on. They're hiding everything, and they're indoctrinating people to be brainwashed to think this is the right way to go. Chauncey, can you answer one question for me? What was gas prices while Donald Trump was in office?
They were $2 and something a gallon, I believe.
Yeah,
maybe
and what
the
are they today?
Might have been almost. I think premium might have been like $2.95. Now they're over $4.
So we was energy independent. We was energy dependent. Right. I think we have 500 million of barrels of oil that are there. During the time of right now, where everybody's recovering financially from the China virus, and I said it, the China virus, everybody's recovering from that financially, businesses, work, whatever. And I says, why not dip into that reserve, lower the price of gas so people can go to work without having to throw $100,000 a week into their car. Okay, you've got to commute back to work. Stop. Just give the people back the money, give them their gas, let them go make a living, and stop charging us, and stop letting Russia make money on oil. We have our own oil. And you don't go from energy independent to relying on Russia within 6 months of the sock puppet Joe Biden taking office. Again, I'm sorry, Chelsea, I get so hyped up because I'm passionate. I love my country, and I don't like what's going on right now, and I'll always be this way.
Amen. Mike, to add to that, you just reminded me. Talking about oil. Why are we begging Iran and Iraq for oil? And, of course, they said no. Like a Middle East country, like you just said, we were energy independent. And Joe Biden's feeble, demented self is trying to get oil from a country. This guy is look at this guy's history for 46 years in the Senate. He has done nothing. He's a well-known racist. His whole family has made millions on the backs off of taxpayers negotiating with foreign entities. The Clintons did it with the Clinton Foundation. This guy just did it directly with his son. His son was his bag man, period. Yeah. And people accept this.
Where is Hunter Biden? Where is he now? Where is this guy selling $5 million art projects? Where is he now? I'd like to know, where is Hunter Biden?
He's a lawyer, at least by profession. It's just sad. It's just sad all the way around, Mike.
It is sad. The whole Biden family is corrupt, and the control they have and the deals they're making, getting rich off the expense of people. And I don't care whether you're Republican or Democrat. If you're American, this has to offend you. Okay? I'm not saying people should not get paid to be the president. That's not a problem. But you should not be making deals and making money and benefiting and profiting personally at the expense of the American people. And at some point, it's going to get way too far. They have an agenda. They have a socialist agenda. We have to stop it. We have to get loud. We have to get proud. We've got to say no more. And the way to do that is in the poll booth. Get out there and vote.
Amen, Mike. Amen. You know, would you like to talk? We have a couple of minutes left.
I can talk for hours with you. You know that.
I know, Mike. I love you on my show because we cover so much. You know, we got immigration, we got fentanyl, the drug crisis, human trafficking. I mean, we're losing on every front, Mike, at home and abroad with this president. We're losing.
You know, the word of the year is hypocrisy. You're telling me that there's a COVID pandemic. We've got to shut down businesses. We've got to get masks. You must get vaccinated. But you could just walk right across the border, unidentified, unvaccinated, and then you see a travel agent, which used to be a Border Patrol officer. Now he's a travel agent. He's going to put you on a plane and take you into our country anywhere you want to go at the expense of the taxpayers. And this is just pure hypocrisy. How do we have open borders? If you believe in open borders, everybody tonight, take the doors off your house, leave them open, leave your cars open, and tell me how that works out for you.
Exactly.
I get
sad.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
Mike, I just want to announce on my show before we close out, Mike, is a friend of mine on LinkedIn, we were going at it back and forth about issues, and as a result, him and I formed, it's called the American First Patriot Podcast. That podcast is going to be unfiltered, uncensored, real talk, real issues, real people. We didn't launch. We had a podcast yesterday with a candidate from Pennsylvania. We're going to be working on setting up 2 days a week, and we're going to have American First candidates on there, and you don't have to worry about what you say. We're going to keep it real. We're going to be right, and we're going to keep it raw, because that's what our 80 million followers in our movement want to hear. They don't want to hear fluff talk. They want to hear what's going on, like we're talking about the reality of what's going on in America today, and what do we need to do to stop it. So be looking out for America First Patriot Podcast. I'm going to be working on it again tonight with my co-host Gerard, and we're going to be launching this week. And I'm going to have a surprise hopefully on Monday. I'm going to announce it, but I'm not going to publicly put it out there, is that a veteran, former SEAL, January 6th protester is in prison or in jail in Washington, D.C., and I'm hoping to get a live call from him on Monday to do a live podcast. That will be live on American First Patriot Podcast, and we're going to hear first what's going on in Washington, what's going on in that jail, and he's going to talk as much as he's able to. I'm sure, the phone conversations are tapped, but we don't plan on discussing anything illegally but the truth, so let the chips fall where they may. So look for that around 9:30. 9:45 on Monday, American First Patriot Podcast on Blog Talk Radio. Mike, please share with my audience.
If you can, send me the link to that podcast. I want to broadcast it all on my social media so people can listen.
Well, what I'll probably do is, Mike, because I do not want to pre-broadcast it, like really too much publicly, because I don't want it to be sabotaged, because this is going to be, I probably will wait until after the show is complete and then send it out, because I don't want anybody to mess up the show, you know what I mean? Because it's going to be a hot show. So what I'll do is I'll prepare something that will highlight a surprise, blah, 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 not get into detail until they call in. So, yeah, I will set something up, Mike, and I'll make sure that I give you that link I'll have it set up by Sunday.